Very good afternoon, Professor Ravindra. So we are happy to have you in our ICCMS 2025 conference. So how you are enjoying this 𝗘𝗃𝗶𝗵 campus and ICCMS 2025 conference?
So it's good to be here. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure visiting IIT Tirupati. We have a lovely campus, and the atmosphere, the faculty are very energetic. So it's good to be here. I'm very happy with the level at which this conference is being organized. A lot of good presentations, very healthy interaction, and I'm sure it will be considered a great success.
You have done your PhD from foreign university, and you are actually doing and guiding so many students from India. What basically difference doing research in abroad and India? Can you give some comments?
Well, I did my PhD long back.
Yes.
So I've been in India for more than 20 years now. Well, there are differences. Things change also. A lot of things have changed from when I did my PhD and now. What I believe a PhD should do is look at problem solving. I emphasize the fact that we should look at problems that the industry is having and try to solve them. Paper should not be the reason why we do research. Paper should be consequence. A lot of times I find that people, when they do research, they are looking at papers as the end result. The impact is counted as number of papers. But for me, the problem solving is important. And I ask my students generally to think how the world will be a better place once their thesis is done or as a result of their thesis. So for me, that is important. And that should be the case wherever you are doing your PhD. I don't think there could be a difference depending on where you are.
We know that you are well-trained structural engineer, and now you are actively working on construction material. What can be the basic difference as a material point of view and a structural point of view?
Well, I think there should not be differences because the material is part of the structure and the structure utilizes the material. So being a structural engineer gives me the advantage that I understand mechanics, I understand structure, I understand the design. So making a material to suit the structural response required has become better. So as opposed to somebody who might be a material scientist or researcher from, say, the chemistry background or material science background, my having a structural background is certainly very helpful because I always keep in mind how the structure has to behave and what the material has to do in the structure.
Do you really think the material and structures people are working together like in India?
I think they are. Most universities, most IITs have the materials group within structure. So if at all we think of a structures group, materials would be there. Some places like IIT Madras, we are different. We have a large group. We have 6 or 7 people working in the area of materials. So we are in the group which is called Building Technology, Construction Materials and Management, where we fit in and we work together with construction management experts and building physics, building science experts. We are not part of the structures group, but we work together as and when required. So to answer your question, is there a difference between structures and materials and the approach? Yes, it is. For us, when we talk about materials research, it does not involve structural analysis and structural design, but it involves making new materials, looking at how materials behave, characterize them, make them with the best technology available, and taking it into the field.
So from research, there are so many new materials are coming.
Yeah.
If it has to implement on the site, what we have to do actually?
Well, first of all, we have to understand the site. We have to understand the application, we have to understand construction, and like I said before, we have to solve problems. If you invent a new material, you come across a new material, people are not going to rush and use the material just because you've done it. It has to resolve something. It has to either make it less expensive, faster to construct, more durable, better performing. There has to be some reason. Just because it's new, people will not use it.
How important is academia and the industry has to work together?
Very important. Like I said, academia have to understand the problems in industry. If we do not know what problems are there, then how can we intend to solve them? Yeah? So a lot of times researchers, I believe, have something which they think is a solution, and then they start looking for problems. I would rather do it the other way. I would hope that young researchers, young faculty would identify problems in the industry, problems in the construction site, at the construction site, during processing, and say that let us see how to resolve this. Let us do research to resolve some problems, so that acceptance becomes easy and the usefulness, the utility of the work becomes better.
If you want to give some advice to the young engineers and research, what would be that?
Well, I think research is a long-term goal. You have to understand why you are doing research. Like I also always say, there are two things that researchers should keep in mind. One is to understand themselves. It takes a lot of effort to understand what somebody is capable of and what they are good at. So research helps you learn about yourself. And the other thing, as I said before, if we can make the world a better place, if our research can help someone, somebody, something to become better, make life easier for people, then for me that is good research. Otherwise there's a lot of research which just ends up in papers and nothing else. So I wish that all of us would work more on impactful research. There has to be some impact, some use of what is happening, especially for an emerging economy like India. That is very, very relevant, that we together try to solve big problems that our country, our sector, construction is facing. And if we can address that by working on research, that is the best outcome that I would expect.
Thank you so much for your answers.